Hello and welcome to A Star to Steer by episode 425.
Neat.
I am Chris, and joining me today are...
I'm feeling curious. This is Ames.
God damn it. I'm feeling annoyed that I have to follow up that with this, and I'm Caitlin.
And I'm...
Oh, that's how Jake communicates.
You live with him. I figured you already knew this.
Oh, she knows. She knows.
Jake communicates by smell of fart. Oh, somebody's been eating a lot of chicken.
Either eating a lot of chicken or quite angry.
Why not both?
Oh, angry farts are the worst.
What the fuck is happening? We haven't even started and we're already just horribly blue.
Look, we're excited because, stuff happened finally.
Yeah, this was the most action-packed episode of the whole fucking season.
But what episode is it? It is episode Species 10C.
Ooh.
Not a creative title, but I'll take it over a pretentious title that starts with an ellipsis.
Unless that title is For the Earth is Hollow and I Have Touched the Sky.
Well, again, TOS gets to do that. Everyone else needs to fucking stop. So yes, this week, what happens? We pick up where we left off last week. We're in we're heading over to the Species 10C bubble, oh, leave us alone. Reno is on Book's ship. They, decide, well, our hails haven't been working. Let's just spray the big bubble with pheromones. A bunch of dots get probably murked by dots. And then the Discovery gets sucked into the bubble. And they're like, oh shit. And then we have some Close Encounters stuff with lights and gas instead of pianos. 10C is like, okay, maybe you aren't stupid, and sends them a little shuttle pod.
A little rebus to decode.
Yeah. I still think we're stupid, just a little less stupid than they thought before.
Yeah.
Monkey with a rock.
So, Michael and Saru and Trina and Rillick all head over to talk to 10C with Gas and Math. Back on the ship, Ndoye is continuing to send information to Book and Tarka. Between that, between the updates and Jet kind of working on him, Book is starting to lose faith in that prick Tarka, and eventually...
Which, man, isn't he supposed to be some kind of empath or some shit? How is he not able, what is he fucking got the Troy block on this guy?
Tarka isn't a sandworm or something, so it doesn't work that way.
Yeah, plus
Speaking of the worm or the spaghetti?
Yeah, I think he has to, sort of be more active with his than a, But what else? Tarka figures out a way out of the little bubble they're in. Book is like, wait, let's not do this, because Reno basically made him reveal that his plan to destroy the DMA will probably kill a bunch of people and Earth. Womp womp. There's a big old fight. Book is now in jail with Reno, who has been MacGyvering a communicator with some black licorice gang. Rise up, as the kids say.
Well, and Tarka, when he was doing his, extra, defenses on the ship, made it so he could turn the ship against Book, right?
Yeah, there's some sort of reverse blasto shield. Book insisted on continuing to shoot him even though it was not working.
Yeah, I would expect more from Book than that.
Yeah, it's symbolism.
Still
He's mad.
Emotionally broken.
Yeah. So they break out of the little bubble. The 10C see this as some sort of act of war. Send the delegates back to Discovery. They've got to somehow break out and chase down Tarka. To be continued.
And they leave us on the most interesting cliffhanger of the entire fucking season.
We got a big finale next week, don't worry.
Yeah, I was going to say, this is probably one of the first times that I can recall in Discovery where it's like, oh, I want to keep watching.
Yeah,
I want to continue into the next epised.
I was big pissed that it was over. I was like, no, how dare!
It's definitely the first time this season I've been like, ooh.
Yeah, no, I mean... Spoiler, this is probably going to be my top of the season because this was a really compelling episode for me.
It's just going to be this 3 times.
Yeah. And I think, and it's also, in a lot of ways, it's the most Star Trek-y we've got with the whole discovering how to communicate with these things. And
yeah, there was a little bit of Darmok in here. There was a lot of like contact in here of how do we communicate.
Like I said too, like shades of Close Encounters of the Third Kind with the fucking but it's lights instead of music. And
maybe if we had brought an electronic Simon to them,
yes,
we could have made them.
Oh, they'd love that thing.
Boop, beep, boop.
Yeah, and I also think like just the way that they communicate is a very new thing that I've seen. So I was very impressed that it felt so original. And yet also so reminiscent of like how do you decode it? You use math, like Ellie Arroway in Contact. That's the first thing you do is you discover what your like Linkos language is, what your like bridge language, so that you can understand like tiny concepts that build to bigger concepts.
Yeah. No, it's definitely like it's really some solid like,
sci-fi.
It's some good it's some good sci-fi shit is what it is.
Yeah, I wrote in my notes at the bottom in very big letters, I love puzzles.
But do you
what I find interesting
like
about
math?
this
Go ahead,
and
Jake,
what I find interesting about this is that it's not that they're learning like 10C's language.
No.
10C is dumbing it down for the ants
and
to
10C
understand.
Isn't learning our language. They're just basically saying like, okay, what things do we have in common? Okay, we can figure out this emotion thing. Let's try that.
Yeah. It's funny.
Yeah, so it's like a little bit of vocabulary and a little bit of like syntax and semantics, and like now we've established a language that we can both sort of speak to communicate ideas.
Yeah,
it's not efficient for either of us, but it gets the point across.
Wasn't there a funny anecdote somewhere that like a couple like met in a trip in Europe or something, and one of them spoke, let's say, Russian, and one of them spoke, let's say, Spanish, and they couldn't communicate, but they both knew just enough Klingon.
Oh my god, that's delightful. There's a moment. Awesome. There's a moment in an old I Love Lucy. Where there's like one season where they spend a couple of episodes on a trip in Europe. And I forget exactly what the circumstances are. They're in some country, and like Lucy speaks English. Ricky speaks English and Spanish. Somebody else spoke like Spanish and I think French, and they were trying to communicate to a Frenchman. So like Lucy had to tell Ricky, who had to tell the other guy, who had to tell the Frenchman. And it's just this scene of language bouncing back and forth.
There's a similar one in Frasier somewhere where like Niles speaks German and someone else speaks German and also Swedish, and somewhere one person got one word wrong, and it's like, no, I didn't cheat on your wife. Instead it was, no, I didn't take your shoes. Whoops.
Yeah. But yeah, no, and it was good too, because I feel like it's something that it's a kind of like complex subject that they managed to make very approachable for the audience without it feeling like it was being dumbed down for the audience. It
was being dumbed down for the audience, but they did it in a very smooth way by making Rillick a moron. Because she asks 50 questions per scene, like, oh, what are you doing now? What does that mean? Explain this to me. Because she's the audience surrogate, but it means she has absolutely no reason to be here except to, like, ask these questions.
Yeah, but it's like, there have been times where they've had to, like, have audience surrogates before, and it's just felt like you said, I think this time it was smoother. It wasn't as obvious. It was smoother, except
that it started making me realize, like, is Rillick qualified at anything?
I mean, she's just not a linguist. I thought,
who is a linguist is our friend Dr. Harai, who got to do a thing.
Yeah, woo! And I was about to bring him up because, like, credit to the guy that plays him. Like, when he's told to stay behind to be like the backup, there's definitely like a little flicker of like, oh, I wanted to go to the thing.
I wanted him to go to the thing.
I think it's kind of stupid, actually. Like, that a little bit annoyed me. Obviously they're going to send Saru and Burnham because they're the stars of the show, but it didn't make a lot of sense to me that
this guy that they brought special for this mission isn't
your
involved.
Whole job here is to be the linguistics expert to communicate with these monsters. Yet
I can kind of see being like, all right, we didn't know we were going to be like going directly to them. maybe since we're not sure if this is a trap or not, we leave the expert behind just in case. Like, yeah, obviously they're really just doing it because he's not a lead, but I feel like in universe it's not as much of a stretch as it could be.
Well, thinking both Burnham and Saru again somewhere also strikes me as odd, as because I think they leave like Reese in charge of the ship, and we give no fucks about Reese.
Yeah. Well, and also, another thing kind of annoyed me about who was on the away team. It was so Rillick's like, okay, I need Michael, I need Saru, Trina, you can come, and Ndoye, you should come as the people whose planets are under threat. And Ndoye is like standing there, shifting eyes back and forth. I think I'd be more help here. Yeah, I'm gonna stay around here and sabotage. I mean, nothing.
Ndoye, goddammit. Ndoye clearly does not listen to true crime podcasts. Because, like, one thing that comes up so often in true crime stuff is when, like, people try to reach out to a missing person and they only reply in text.
Yeah.
That's always a sign something is wrong. And it's like, okay, you've been communicating through audio this whole time. You're not wondering why Book suddenly just wrote you back?
Yeah.
That doesn't make you go...
Who is this? It's Book. Book, what's your first name? I don't know.
I have a first name. He's the Dread Courier Cleveland Booker the Fifth.
The Dread Pirate.
I thought the same thing. I didn't care either, though, so...
But like, I don't know. I really do like. Ndoye is the worst in a good way in terms of like drama, but like honestly, she just sucks.
She is the epitome of an earther.
Yeah, totally.
Wow, damn.
So it's like, really, what the fuck
first.
Is your problem?
Like when she notices, like, wow, communicating with these people is going to take forever, and they're like, yeah, that's how these things work. But she's on a clock because, Earth is in the crosshair. Yeah. So I think, she's weighing the, do I have time to wait this out, or should I reach out to Book?
Yeah, like her motivations all make sense. I do get it. One thing that did annoy me, because I know I was bitching about this a couple of weeks ago, is like the lack of sense of scale. And like now they're saying that somehow Earth and Navarre are going to be hit at the same time? And it's like...
Who knows?
I had assumed it was like they were just in a line. And like, all right, yeah, they'll get Earth and then Navarre or vice versa. But now they're saying they're going to be hit at once. And I'm like, guys, do you think Navarre is in our solar system?
Well, they also, at one point, they're like, oh, Earth and Navarre are going to start feeling the effects of the DMA soon. And I'm like, the effects of the DMA are they explode.
Yeah.
Like, we saw this on Book's planet, where it's just... It was 1 minute it was fine, and then the next minute the birds were dying, and then literally seconds later, everything was destroyed.
Also, like, is it just going to hit Earth, or is it going to fuck up anywhere else in the solar system? Like,
they mentioned
Titan
before because we met that guy last season from Titan,
and we know people live on the moon.
It's going to fuck up the solar system, and they're just using that as like a
shorthand.
The planets, the habited planets that are going to be impacted by this thing are Navarre, Titan, and Earth.
Yeah.
And the moon is probably getting lumped in with that.
Mars might be in the way. It depends. It all sort of depends on the exact, because planets aren't all bunched together. We can be on one side of the sun and Jupiter can be on the other on any given day. But still, it's probably a fairly populous solar system.
I did like there was one line at the very beginning that I thought was good. It was another Rillick kind of being stupid for the audience surrogacy thing, but I think someone mentions such and such is this many AUs away, and she says, the distance from the Earth to Mars, and I actually thought like, oh, thank you. Finally, I understand at least that sense of scale, because so often these numbers mean nothing to many viewers unless you're like super into science jargon.
Also, I am still harping on 10C built the whale probe, because their little bubble even kind of looks like sort of a weird mishmash of like whale skin and the probe surface.
Yeah, I'm still buying that.
Yeah, spoiler alert, I don't think they say either way if that's the case, but that will be my headcanon forever.
It's a good headcanon.
Meh.
But then, like, I think there is one strong case against it, and that's they obviously give a shit about whales.
True.
So why would they send the DMA to go kill all the whales?
Yeah, 10C doesn't seem to kind of get that there's stuff in. Yeah, that's a good point.
And their language is wildly different.
Yeah.
If they could communicate with whales, they could communicate with people.
Yeah.
Because of the sounds of it and shit.
Good point. Oh, well. It was my baby, but you're right. Doesn't make sense. Speaking, though, of whales and communicating.
Why'd you hit me when you say that?
You had brought up last week off air, and I think you didn't bring it up in the episode, the Elcor.
Oh, I didn't mention the Elcor?
You didn't.
What the fuck, man?
So there's something very Elcor-like about the 10C. The Elcor... The Elcor are a species of alien in Mass Effect.
Okay.
And they're these weird sort of like almost elephant-looking things, but instead of trunks, they have weird like gill faces. They're very cute. But their whole thing is they speak in a monotone that Jet Reno would envy.
Yeah, I was just going to say, they sound exactly like Jet. I was thinking that.
Because in their native language, they rely... Well, yeah, so I'll let you explain. This is your idea.
Oh, well, I mean, but you played the games. But basically, it's like they emit... I think what they do when they're communicating with each other is they emit hormones to, like, give what the meaning behind their words are. But when they're talking to people and using English, they're like, hey, that's too much. It's like, hey, that's my cake.
Sad.
Annoyance.
Well, they usually, they'll start...
Annoyed. Oh, that's right. It's like annoyed remark. That's my cake.
Oh, it's like how sometimes you have to like use emojis in a text to convey like, I'm being sarcastic, by the way, because you can't necessarily read that in a messenger or some shit.
Yeah. So they all speak in this deadpan, but they always start their sentence with what their emotion is, because kind of like with the 10C, they established this week that like, it's a mix of the like lights and their gases that get the emotional full context. Yeah.
Just like Jake, his lights and his gases.
There's I think you can hear a bit of a snippet of it at some point in the background in an episode in one of the games, but someone talks about an all Elcor production of Hamlet or something. Oh my god,
yeah.
So they have to, they're doing Shakespeare, but before every line, they have to, like, dictate their emotion.
Oh, that's funny.
Very funny.
You haven't seen Shakespeare until you've seen it in the original Elcor.
Exactly.
It's the truth.
But yeah,
I do like how, like, 10C's communication, at least the way that they're doing it with our heroes, is very much like a text, because we're using shorthand for things, and we tell them, through, leet speak, that your DMA is killing our people and we're all terrified of it, and then they just respond with the equivalent of reacting with a frowny face.
Care emoji.
That's actually oh no.
Yeah, that was very clever. The way I'll give Michael some credit, because I frequently shit on, Michael figures things out all the time, but she figures out like a way to say, what do we mean by us? In a way that will actually convey it accurately.
And
to send them the gases in the air that they had to create for them to live in that pod. That's very smart.
Yeah.
I was also impressed, just from a production standpoint, that they managed to create an exact duplicate of the bridge set for inside the...
It looked just like it.
It looked exactly the same, so that was pretty cool. But now you know where the budget's going.
It's funny, though. They did stuff with the camera angles to make it look like the replica of the bridge was smaller than the real one.
I didn't see that.
Oh, yeah, no, I was very conscious of the fact that, like, they made it seem a lot smaller by using, like, some weird lenses and high angles.
Or
maybe just when they're filming the bridge.
It was the same.
Well, maybe it was more just for our benefit as the audience.
Yeah, like to make it clear to us, like, yes, this is still the replica bridge, even though, again, you should be able to pick that up by who's on there, but...
It could just be that they generally use wider lenses when they're filming on the bridge to make it appear bigger, and they just didn't do that this time.
I wonder if it's also because people have to be further apart because they're still filming during COVID, and they want it to make it appear slightly more intimate, like, no, everyone isn't exactly 6 feet apart. Narrow the screen!
I gotta say, they must have been kind of happy, because like I've often said, like, I do love a lot of the look of this show, but I do think the bridge is far too big.
Big and dark.
They must have been very happy, though, when COVID stuff was happening. It's like, oh, good news. The actors are already 1,000 feet apart on the bridge anyway, so good on you.
So, yeah, I don't know. There was the kind of an awkward scene, I thought, with when they beamed 3 randos from the bridge to help them solve the mystery of how the communication works.
Yeah.
And then they all just like fuck off.
Yeah, it's like, I get why you picked the comms guy. He's your comms guy. This is his field. The pilot and whatever the fuck Nilsson is slightly random.
Yeah, because I think the other issue there is it really doesnthem feel applicable to why they're there. It seems like they just pick people at random, like they've been doing with the bridge crew a lot. You could have given any of them any of those lines, and it would have been the exact same.
Yeah. Like I said, again, Christopher makes sense. Comms, it's kind of his field. What is Nilsson?
I don't even know. She's whatever Arium used to be, and I don't know what that was either.
Not a robot.
Not a robot, not a girl.
Just a minor thing from that scene, when Michael realizes, none of us have figured this out yet. I'm gonna bring in my crew. And she has this like really smug, smirky thing, like, fuck your people, Willick. I'm gonna bring in people I know.
Oh,
and
Jesus.
It just
Michael's
felt
too big for her britches. She figured it out. She figured out that she's the most important person on the fucking show. Well, there'll be no living with her now.
She just said she wanted other perspectives, which is fair.
Well, to be even more fair, Ndoye and Tarina haven't done anything in terms of this plot.
I mean,
why couldn't Tarina have known any of this?
Okay, Tarina, I think, should have been a little more involved. Ndoye is just some sort of military fascist. I wouldn't expect her to have insight on something scientific.
So the people Tarina brought are Harai, who's our linguist. That makes a lot of sense.
Yes.
Tarina and Ndoye, who are the presidents of their respective planets. Ndoye is just a general. We haven't met the president yet.
She's like the highest ranking military person.
She's someone who we've met before and who wears cute hats. And that's it. She didn't bring any other specialists. I thought
there were other representatives from other planets that just they were on the ship when we left, but we don't see them anymore because A, we don't want to pay those actors to come back and do the makeup on them, and B, only Earth and Navarre are under immediate threat, so that gives us an excuse to only see these 2.
Yeah, you're right. There are supposed to be other delegates. I kind of forgot about that.
Almost be interesting is because we're doing this to make first contact with these people. We're doing this so that we're not only doing Tarka's plan.
Yeah.
But I almost feel like they should have also brought in like a military strategist just in case something goes bad. And then the military strategist this would be like a very interesting character in my brain, who's there specifically to think of things from a certain perspective, is also like swayed to this side because he sees what's most important.
Yeah. Or they could have given that to Ndoye.
Yeah, as I say, I think Ndoye was supposed to kind of be the military voice, but she just sucks so bad.
Well, she's needed in the book plot.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. She needs to be the saboteur to really get anything done.
Yeah, who goes and plans things in empty fucking hallways somehow.
Yeah.
Does she not have quarters?
And also, empty hallways that have pulsing lights. What is up with that? I bitched about it last week. It still annoys me this week.
It is annoying. Yeah, I mean, like, I was thinking about this recently, that Discovery and really most Starfleet ships must be almost entirely empty. Like, when you think about the scale of the Enterprise D.
Oh my God, yeah.
And they're like, oh, there's 1,000 people on board. Well, that sounds like a lot. But then when you think of the size of that ship and how many decks it has and how big each deck must be, it must be so sparsely populated.
It's like a lot of lab and like conference room space, because they even say
everyone has their own quarters and they're all huge.
Yeah, like I know we talked about this before, but like in the alternate timeline created when the Enterprise C jumped forward, they talk about the crew capacity of the Enterprise D in that timeline where it's being used as a more military ship, and the crew complement is way higher.
Yeah, I think it's probably makes sense if you consider that oftentimes the Galaxy class is being used for things like evacuating people from, emergency situations, and they just need a lot of spare capacity.
Yeah. There's I think I saw a thing once where it like was showing, a drawing of like the entire crew on the saucer section, and they were like the size of one of the plates.
Yeah. Under normal circumstances, the D is just very empty. And I bet in the Discovery, which also seems quite large, especially when you consider the large star drive section.
And the empty guts inside.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's true. There is all that empty
space.
Yeah, there just must be tons of hallways that just nobody's in. So it's probably easy to find a secluded spot.
Yeah, like I feel like probably as far as our hero ships go, the most cramped was probably Voyager because she was a relatively small scout.
But then again, Voyager only had, 100 and some odd people?
True. Wasn't it like 180?
140 something.
Oh, 140, yeah, that sounds right.
I mean, there's like the original complement, and then a bunch of people got killed.
Yeah.
In the first 10 minutes.
I think relatively speaking, though, like even though the crew's a lot smaller than the ship, like we see how tiny she is when she lands. Like, again, it's not cramped literally, but compared to a lot of the other ones, you feel like,
Well, the Defiant, too, though. The Defiant is teeny tiny.
True.
But we also don't know what their actual crew complement is because we only ever see like a half dozen people.
Yeah.
Big enough for 6 people or 1 Worf as a permanent resident.
Oh, that's right. He moved on there for a little bit, didn't he?
Yep.
Forgot about that.
Oh, that's because you haven't watched DS9 8 times in the last year.
True.
Yeah, so while I didn't really care for our bridge crew popping in and helping with that because it felt like, yet again, the just pick random bridge crew members, I did like we get a sudden backstory moment from Jet when she's talking to Book, which felt, A, appropriate, and B, it was something that was, like, related to the scene instead of just Reese blurting out randomly, I survived a hurricane once! Thanks, Reese.
You know what it is? I just realized what it is. Everyone on Discovery has trauma Tourette's. Mm-hmm. They just randomly shout out trauma that's happened to them.
I have to say, I was less annoyed by the actual content of the scene than I usually am by the tropey, orbiting camera. Everybody finishes each other's sentence and they all science collectively. And I think it might have been because Stamets wasn't there, because he's usually the most smug.
He went through huge growth, though, because he ran into that gold shirt in engineering at some point and went, "Ooh, sorry." Which, season one Stamets.
Growth, wow.
We're talking about Stamets.
Yeah, season 1 Stamets would have been like, "What are you doing in my engine room?"
You're standing in Diogenes light.
When he was like, I've been looking for Jet all day, and it's like, okay, if you couldn't find Jet, maybe you should have asked the computer, where's Jet? And Jet would say, Jet's under the floorboards right now.
Yeah.
Well, not even just that, but the computer, Zora literally was like, something seems wrong. And he doesn't say to her, yeah, I haven't seen Jet all day. I mean, I feel like if you know that the computer is telling you, I got a bad feeling about this, and you're not like, I haven't had the smell of black licorice burning my nostrils lately.
Yeah, I wrote down
lots of balls being dropped here.
I've been looking for Reno all day, because she's on the call sheet. Never else has he ever looked for Reno.
Yeah,
even though she's never actually in engineering.
Yeah, I liked her MacGyvering some stuff with black licorice.
I thought that was badass.
Mucking with Book, like you said, giving some background, realizing that Tarka's up to no good because unlike Book, she's an engineer.
I mean, it does make Tarka look foolish that he kept her locked up where they were doing all of their plotting.
Yeah.
Tarka is suffering from Gul Dukat syndrome in that he still really thinks he's the good guy. I think to some extent.
I don't know if
him being you're not a hostage. You're being forced to be my travel buddy, but you're not a hostage. I
just think he has absolutely no empathy for other beings.
Boy, he sure does.
Oh yeah, he's a big narcissist. That's for sure.
When they tell him this will still explode Earth, he says, "Oh, but in a month, they could evacuate by then." It's like,
yeah, figure it out.
Not getting it, dude. Wow.
Yeah, I hate him. I know I'm supposed to.
But we're meant to hate him, so I'm okay with that.
I will say,
damn it.
they have definitely I'm enjoying disliking him now, unlike earlier in the season where I just found him fucking aggravating. So they've done something right.
Yeah.
He's still pretty aggravating, though.
Yeah,
What's
but
up,
now I think
pal?
he's aggravating in the intentional way and not aggravating in the when are you going to do something way.
Yeah.
Why should we care about your plot? Oh, now I kind of care about your plot. Okay.
Yeah.
Yet another week where Adira does nothing other than yeah, right. Like be there, I guess.
Yeah.
Like we did see Adira, right, in engineering.
Yeah, they got to help set up the dots.
Yeah, okay.
And like throw them at the ceiling with magic.
But hey,
oh yeah, I like that I think we have like a little skylight in engineering for the dots to go outside.
Yeah.
But we did have a minute to kibitz with Saru about him having marital problems with his new girlfriend.
Oh God! And I gotta say though, that burn that that Tarina laid on Saru in the
that was
first
harsh.
meeting, I was like, ooh.
Do you remember what she said?
Like Saru was like, I can't remember. He made it was a classic thing where he made some suggestion that turned out, I think, to be right in the end. But anyway, he made some suggestion, and she's like, "Well, logic would dictate that we don't do that."
Well, no, she's like, we don't need speculation right now. We need.
Oh
this.
yeah, that's what it is. Yeah, speculation is not helping.
I've got to admit, though, it's like Trina. That's kind of the point of this meeting, though, is to speculate and try to get to the answer.
And then, like even I was like, "Ooh, that hurts," and like you could see it in Saru's face. Like, props to Doug Jones for acting.
Yeah, through all that shit.
Yeah.
Hey,
It's like,
is Sukal in the room? Because that was a sick burn.
Nice.
And then like later he goes to burn him and is like, yeah, Trina just threw mad shade at me, and Burnham's like, yeah, that's just a Vulcan-y thing. Just she likes you know. That's just what they do.
Vulcans be bitches, and that's
Vulcans. That's how you know a Vulcan likes you. They neg the shit out of you.
No, that's the Cardassians.
Why not both?
True.
Although I really did not need their little shout fest.
Oh, see, I thought it was cute.
I don't. What was that for? I didn't understand that. Why?
Oh, because Michael was stressed out, and Saru wanted to share his new method of getting rid of stress.
Yeah.
He's like, you know what Tarka told me to do when I'm stressed? And he just starts jerking it. Sorry.
I think the reason I bought it is because, again, like Michael's formative years were on Vulcan. They don't do scream therapy. She wouldn't have heard of it.
I don't know. I felt the scene felt entirely like out of place in this episode.
Yeah, it was dumb.
Like, imagine the episode without it. You don't lose a single thing.
No, you didn't. No, that's true. You wouldn't lose anything, but I also didn't feel like I don't know. I like any. They work nicely together, and I enjoy seeing them in a moment alone.
It came close to yum like moments of like taking me out of the episode.
I wouldn't go that far.
No,
but,
it's nowhere near that for me either.
But listen, to each their own. I can't. I'm not gonna yuck. I'm not gonna yuck your yum. You know what I mean? Hey.
I have a note in mind where it was like, you know, towards the end, Jet's going like, I'll talk fast. And I was like, I don't think you're physically able to talk fast.
I know. Then you listen to the message and she's talking at a very normal rate. It's like, oh,
yeah, which for her is fast.
Yeah.
I wonder how many takes they had to do to like get that from her. She's like, okay, I'm going to talk fast. Quote. Captain, I'm on Book's ship. Tarka's going to fucking blow. No, cut. Faster.
Look, if there's one thing I know, if you want a sentence to seem faster, you can just cut out the spaces between the words a little bit.
That doesn't sound awkward at all. Ever.
No. You have to be careful and delicate.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
That's not true. I don't think I've ever shortened an individual sentence. I've just occasionally cut awkward gaps.
You're like, that's not true. I'm never delicate.
But Book gets absolutely bitched by Tarka.
I know, there was a hot second when I'm just like, Book, shoot Tarka right now. If you have a gun with stun setting, we should always be using it. Oh, never mind. I guess not.
Yeah. I was going to say, Book, you were like, shoot him with stun setting. Just shoot him with the fucking max setting. But again, good thing he didn't, because it would have been reflected back to him.
You have a gun in your room. You can go get it.
But here's the thing, right? Like this episode actually retroactively makes it make sense why we had to get Grudge off of Book's ship, because if Grudge were there, Tarka would have no face.
Grudge would have fucked him up, dude.
I'm now just picturing the cat scene from Reanimator but with Tarka.
Oh no!
Absolutely.
With grudge on his face.
Just stapled, and obviously not grudge cat, like stapled to his shirt. And he's going,
No, listen, Tarka's doing a fine job, but he's no Jeffrey Combs. So just saying, I don't know if I could count on him to sell that.
Book, I'm protected by a level 10 force field. You can't do shit. And Book's like, yeah, well, level 10 force field will not stand up to an angry feline.
Luckily for me, I always hold a grudge. Tarka's like, what do you mean by that? And the cat, I'm on fire. Butterman think I'm on a roll. Wow, I've killed Chris.
Jesus
Don't die.
Christ.
Don't die. It's okay. It's okay, buddy.
oh,
Goody goo.
you know how bad I wish grudge was actually the solution. Oh, that's beautiful.
No, well, especially now that you know how wonderfully it could have gone.
That would be as silly as the fucking shouting scene. I also thought, Nan must not be here because the second, we see Book's ship is there, we should have fired on it and destroyed it.
But the thing is, we're inside the 10 Seas bubble habitat or whatever. So there is a kind of a question of, do you want to shoot weapons in there, or is that potentially going to hurt them?
Do you want to let Tarka do whatever he's doing?
Yeah, but there's also I guess,
no.
Something's getting fucked with all the ship's energy. It's entirely possible the weapons maybe would have been kerfucked for some technobabble reason.
And we also couldn't use propulsion.
Yeah,
that was an interesting take and an interesting thing. Is like we can't actually fly around in here for some reason. So that's why Tarka had to use the tractor beam to push off.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, because 10C had selectively shut down some of their systems.
Yeah, so
they basically turned off. So they may have turned off their weapons even.
Yeah, probably. So that's why he couldn't just shoot a hole in it. He had to use the drive plasma to poke a hole, and so that could have been explained better. I think why they had to.
Yeah, there's definitely
use
some stuff that I think it's there, but they didn't say it explicitly, and that's led to our minor confusion right now.
I also think that I thought that him punching the hole in it and reverse tractor beaming out of it was what was going to cause destruction to happen.
No, I think that was just to escape, and then once he was outside, he had some way to destroy the DMA controller.
Yeah.
Because it was destroying the DMA controller was the thing that was going to fuck shit up.
Okay, but here's my question. The last time they destroyed the DMA controller, it gave them a worse DMA controller. So, why is he I'm going to do it again?
Well, no, because this time they're at the source.
Yeah.
So why do they think that's better?
Well, the DMA controller is actually here. What they destroyed before was a Bluetooth version of it that was just connected through a wormhole. Yeah, so now they're on the other side of the wormhole where all the good shit is. Yeah,
if to use Jake's Bluetooth metaphor further, like a balloon and something bad happens, they blew up some earbuds, now they're going to blow up the phone.
Shit. Sounds intense.
Jake, virtual high five for that fucking technobabble.
Yeah, we're jumping to a lot of conclusions and hoping the audience doesn't question any of this. Sadly, we are nerds.
Well, they've never questioned it before. Why would they start now,
Yeah, but honestly, as far as Discovery convoluted bullshit goes, this is one of the more, at least enjoyable ones to watch, I think.
Oh, this is I enjoyed this episode immensely. Everything about this was good, I thought.
Yeah, this again does just point to the fact that, as we discussed a week or two ago, this season's concept would have been a good movie.
Yeah, I wouldn't say I loved everything about this one, because I remember when I first saw this episode, loving this episode because the concepts in it are something you can really chew on and think about. How would we communicate with this thing? What do the emotions have to do to dig into it? But it's all the little bitty things, why did we pick the bridge crew? Why is Ndoye such a fucking moron? That you can still kind of pick apart and say, arg, arg. I have one more, too. It's we have yet another brief reminder scene between Paul and Hugh, of Paul saying, Hugh, are you okay? And Hugh being not really. And it
is
never
this ever going to pay off?
Ever.
is this Stamets Hugh stuff ever gonna pay off?
I genuinely don't remember.
This is just the human condition.
Ugh, that's depressing but true.
It's like they ran out of stuff.
Doesn't make for TV.
Like they ran out of good stuff for those characters, but they need to keep them around because they're main characters, and we still care about them as the audience. But there's just nothing. There's no reason for them to be there. Like for whatever reason, they chose not to do what they did with Adira, which is okay. We ran out of Adira stuff, so let's just fridge the character and have them show up in the background every now and again. But for some reason, it's like no. We must do more with Hugh and Paul. But
yeah, it's just
there's nothing interesting there.
I feel like we've had this scene 10 times now of just someone saying, "Oh, Hugh's mental health is rough because all the things," but we're never gonna do anything about it, and it's getting very frustrating.
Yeah. No. Instead, he talked down the computer so she could figure out what was going on with her.
Yeah, and that was all fine. It was just there is another thing happening, and you're just not doing anything with it.
I do wish they had named the game when.
I thought the same thing.
The Trill game.
Yeah, when Zora played it with Gray. So because I realized the Trill game, I was like, well, that's stupid. I was like, oh yeah, but we don't know what the fuck it's called, so.
They could have named it here. They could have said, oh, we could have played, Chazbot. But, because you seem to like playing it with Gray.
Yeah, there we go.
Easy
Chazbot.
Line.
Yeah. Well, and the other thing I did like about this episode is that it retroactively made last week's episode make more sense in context, because obviously they couldn't have done what they did this week without the context.
Oh, that's because they wrote the season backwards.
Well, I know. Well, absolutely. But but Edoye, you'll recall last week was like, no, we shouldn't do this excursion. We should just go straight to the home base.
Mm.
And that was before she even knew about Tarka's whole plan.
Yeah.
Or even that Tarka was hiding.
Right.
Yeah. As far as they know, they have no idea where Book is right now.
So, like, if they didn't go to the homeworld, the 10C homeworld, and learn about the pheromones, and then they just went straight to the megasphere or whatever they were calling it, they would have been royally fucked.
Yeah. They had to have turned around and found the homeworld after all.
Actually, to be fair, I think they probably could have, because you'll recall they didn't actually get pulled into the 10C's bubble until they sent the dots with the pheromones.
Dots. Yeah, the peace pheromones.
So they could have done the thing where they went straight here. We're like, we have no way of communicating with them. We can't even get inside their bubble. Huh. Oh, let's go check out that planet. And then get the key. I think they just kind of did this as a shortcut, but
yeah.
But so playing Trill video games. It's pretty cool. You know what other video games are cool?
Whoa, look at Jake doing the segue.
Wow, Jake is the master of the fucking segue.
That was so not awkward at all.
So this is our final of our science fiction kind of retrospective spotlight series. It's the one that I'm going to regret the most, because I'm not going to know any of the ones you guys talk about, because this week we are talking about science fiction video games.
Whoa!
And I'm going to go first, because then I can just leave the room and let you guys talk. Because I struggled, because I also tried to give myself the limit that is probably a very dumb idea of trying to list only games that I have played.
Oh.
And spoilers, I don't play a lot of games because that is not the type of patience I have. I consider myself a very patient person. I can sit in gridlocked traffic for days and it's fine, but I can't sit and play with a controller and try to do things. So I was almost tempted to be very, very cop-outy and say things like, there's a walkabout mini golf level that takes place in space, and I guess there's kind of a sci-fi story when you do the hard level. Yeah, that's something I've played. Or in The Sims 2, you can get abducted by aliens. That's kind of sci-fi. Everyone in the world has played 3D Pinball Space Cadet, right?
I fucking hope so.
I loved that game. I was infatuated. But I do actually have a good list, and I'm pretty proud of this list. Because my number 5 is a deep cut, and it's a fun one. This is an old Atari game. It's one of the first games Lucasfilm Computer Division Games Group produced.
Wow.
And it's also one of the first games that people could qualify as like an actual tense horror game.
Oh.
And this is Rescue on Fractalus! !
Oh, yeah, I've never heard of this.
It's a mostly very simple game because, everything was at the time. I think it came out in 1984. And the basic concept is you're rescuing a bunch of people who have been marooned on a planet. So most of the game is you flying around, shooting out enemy guns in these canyons to try to find the survivors. You find one on your little blip. It's got one of those little radar blip things that you follow until you find a survivor. You land. The survivor will come to you because he's carrying some gas because he's the one that supplies your gas.
Oh.
And he comes and he knocks on the door and you let him in. And George Lucas said, you know what this game needs is something like that throws a curveball at that element. And that is that sometimes, instead of a human coming and knocking on your door to get in, it's an alien who is trying to kill you. And you have a moment of, oh God, will I hear the knock, knock, knock of the human trying to get in? Or will an alien suddenly jump at the scream and scream?
So he invented Five Nights at Freddy's.
Sure. So just throwing that game a bone because I remember that moment always being fucking horrifying.
It does sound horrifying.
My next is another simple one from my youth, and that's that I played a lot of Crash Bandicoot Warped.
Hell yeah.
Which I don't think I even realized had a sci-fi plot when I was playing it as a kid, because, it's mostly like individual levels of collecting Wumpa fruit and all this shit. But there is kind of a sci-fi story, which is how Dr. Cortex has decided all these levels exist because he uses his warp machine thing. So there's something there, and I love Crash Bandicoot, so that one gets a mention on my list.
That's fair.
Crash Bandicoot is always good for a mention, 100%.
Yeah. Number 3 is another obvious one from that kind of time period that, whilst I played, I didn't get very far, but my dad did, and that's Doom. Which is just a lot of fun. The monsters are all very cool. Like, they're very interesting, different monsters, and I respect that a whole lot. And now we get to the big guns, because here's actual games that are, like, quality. I don't know how well it holds up, but at the time, Spore was fascinating.
Oh, yeah, people love that game.
Was that really pretty, like, no, never mind.
I'm going to say no. Spore is a game in 5 parts. It's about evolution of species. Because the first stage, you're just like a cell growing bigger and bigger by eating stuff and not getting killed by other things and evolving and getting more parts. The next stage, you're a creature. You walk around on land. You get more parts. You make friends or enemies. The next scene is the tribal stage, in which you make allies or enemies by playing music at them or destroying them. Level 4 is the civilization stage, which is quite complicated in that, you're now individual civilizations are on this land, and you get involved with each other, which is interesting. And the last stage is the space stage, which is just open-ended, exploring space, trying to make it to the center of the galaxy where I think it's the Groks live. And
that's where God lives.
Wrong franchise, Chris.
But what does he need with a spaceship?
He doesn't.
Starship.
They just destroy you if you get close to them.
Oh, no.
So yeah, Spore is a lot of fun. It had a lot of bugs, but it's still very cute. And it's the same creator as The Sims. Well, right? My brain is telling me? I think that's right. My number 1, I'm giving to another game I didn't play much of, but I have technically played a little of it. And that's a game called Psychonauts.
Oh, I still need to play that. That's a classic.
Psychonauts is fucking fascinating. It is... There's both pseudoscience and normal science involved, so I'm going to count it anyway.
Yeah,
and it's basically a game about mental health.
Yeah.
And you're a cute little dude who has these special psychic powers because, I guess an asteroid landed somewhere nearby and gave everyone psychic powers. And they go to the summer camp where they learn to use them to help unclutter people's emotional baggage. And it's so clever. It's such a clever game with such interesting graphics that I highly recommend it. It's very fun.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a really great game. And they made a sequel to it, which is also
The sequel's also good.
Well, it sounds delightful.
Who wants to go next?
Sci-fi video games? Yeah, go ahead, Chris. Why not?
Yeah, okay. Well, again, I think there's probably nothing terribly surprising on my list. First, I'm going to say Fallout 4. It's a good series. And, for most people, their favorite is usually either New Vegas or 3. 4 was the one where the mechanics finally clicked for me. Like, I had failed attempts at 3 in New Vegas. 4, for whatever reason, where I finally understood how these damn games work. So it has a very I have a soft spot in my heart for it. Also, I really do enjoy the base building. I made my original town ludicrously over-elaborate on my first ever playthrough. Mass Effect 2, the Mass Effect series brought up a lot, very Star Trek inspired in a lot of ways. 2 is the one where, the first one's good, but the second one, the writing and the mechanics and everything are just really tightened up, so it's a bit more fun to play than the first one. Great game, though. Some really good, moments with your crew.
Are these in an order, Chris?
Yeah, ascending.
Okay.
Next up, I'm going to give it to Cyberpunk 2077.
Ah, there it is.
It's just such a fun world to exist in. Like, there have literally been times where I have just dithered around the city doing nothing in particular, just because it's such a fun space to be in, and the gameplay itself is just absolutely delightful. Keanu Reeves is very amusing in it. Idris Elba's in the DLC, and he's great. So it's a very good time. Number 2, the original BioShock. Just really great game, underwater city with a wonderful Art Deco aesthetic, and it's a libertarian utopia gone horribly, predictably wrong.
A bunch of crazy motherfuckers trying to kill the shit out of y'all.
Yep, and extra spooky for me because I find whales creepy.
Oh my god.
And one of the main enemies makes whale noises.
Big whale noises all the fucking time.
And number 1, gotta give it to Portal 2.
Whoa! I'm shocked Death Stranding isn't on here, Chris, because you talk about that all the time.
I love that game.
Is that science fiction or magic?
That's the thing. It's kind of a weird... That's the thing. It's in this weird cuspy world of, they're using science to understand the fact that maybe magic has punched into their world, and it's a very odd boy. I do love it, don't get me wrong, but it's very weird. But Portal 2 is just so great. The gameplay itself is fun, but that's also... GLaDOS. GLaDOS is one of the all-time great video game enemies/frenemies in this one. They took what they had already sort of established in the first game and just ran with it. You've got the recordings from Cave Johnson left behind.
Oh,
it's
that's
just
cool.
Cave Johnson is a delight. And actually, that's a good point. One of the things, just to not to interject, but one of the things that makes BioShock so great, at least for me, I've never played it. I've only watched Chris play it, so I feel like I can talk about it now since I can't really claim it as my own, is that all of the doctors and all the heavy hitters and main players and characters that you hear about or meet in the game have left behind fucking voice journals. I just love an epistolary story. Is that what it's called, epistolary?
Yeah.
I love that. I like when there's diaries. I like when there's voice stuff. I mean, even in real life, one of my favorite true crime podcasts is one that has actual voice blogs by the alleged killer.
Yeah.
It really adds something to it, I think.
Yeah, and BioShock does it really well, because a lot of games do, games did it before BioShock and games done it since. I think BioShock's an example of it implemented very effectively.
Oh, it's great.
Whereas a lot of games just kind of scatter, even honestly, the later BioShocks do a piss poor job of the recordings just feel random and almost pointless. So it's a delicate balance doing that well. And GLaDOS 2, I think, owes a lot of debt to System Shock, which was made by the BioShock people first, with the evil AI taunting you over a radio the whole time. But yeah, so I gotta give Portal 2 the number 1 slot for me.
Cute.
Alright, who's next?
Jake, you want to Rochambeau for it?
You can go.
I think Jake wants to go last because he culls duplicates.
Yeah, because I got spares.
Okay.
So if we overlap, I can swap stuff in.
Okay. So I'm sure I will have some answers, but at the same time, I don't play that many science fiction video games for the same reason that I don't do a lot of standard science fiction stuff, which is that I don't like aliens invading the Earth and making everything fucking horrible because it feels too real. But unbeknownst to me for a long time, one of my favorite games of all time was Final Fantasy IV. Well, that part wasn't unbeknownst to me. The science fiction element of it, though, I kind of didn't realize until a lot later, because it takes place in a world very much like Earth, and there's castles and airships and shit, so it's got kind of like a vaguely fantastical medieval type of feeling to it. But then all of a sudden, you summon a ship from the sea that flies you to the moon. And it's like, oh, okay. It turns out you're half alien. Okay.
Oh, I was sci-fi all along.
Exactly. It was stealth as fuck.
That happens with we've shouted this before, a bunch of Final Fantasies go, oops, secret sci-fi.
LOL, it was aliens.
I mean, I would say that like the JRPG genre as a whole does that a lot, or especially maybe it's just like those square RPGs, because I feel like Chrono Trigger did that, Secret of Mana did that. Yeah, it's a fairly common thing.
Not all Final Fantasies are secret sci-fi, but a surprising amount of them are. I know I brought up 9 previously as being secret sci-fi.
Oh yeah. Hi, science fiction calling. That reminded me though, Kingdom Hearts I think technically counts. Because you use a spaceship to get places.
It's multiversal.
Yeah. And there are like a load of Kingdom Hearts games. To be honest, I haven't like beaten any of them probably, but I enjoy them just because they are whimsical fantasy lands where you get to go hang out with your favorite Disney buds.
Is that Squaresoft?
Yeah, sure
Final Fantasy characters show up in them too.
Yeah, with like the wrong name. Like Squall shows up, but they name him Leon for some reason. And I do think that's the first place where in English they called Aerith Aerith. Like I think she actually is listed as Aerith in the game as opposed to Aerith. So good for them, I guess. And Sephiroth is Sephiroth, I think. I don't know. Maybe they only changed Squall, but either way, I don't fucking understand why. But I'm going to say that it has a science fiction-y element. There's a spaceship. I don't give a fuck. So that's 2. Let's see. Star Ocean, the second story. I played a lot as a kid, mostly with like my stepbrother, actually. It's more like he was driving and I was watching. But that, again, like kind of started on Earth, but it's actually that you have been like a visitor from another planet like the whole time. Blah, blah. The things, granted, this is a long ass time ago, and the things that I remember the most about it were that there was like a very substantial like cooking system and other types of crafting systems. And this was like PlayStation 1, so at the time, it felt pretty advanced and cool.
Yeah, no, that was probably one of the progenitors.
And it had a lot of, not a lot, but it had some like voice acting that went along with like the fights.
Oh, wow.
The thing I remember the most is that one character had an attack called Poison Pill. And when he'd use it, he'd go, Poison Pill! And it's just terrible, but it was there and it was good. Let's see, that's 3. What else we got? Mario Brothers counts because if being transported down a pipe to another world isn't science fiction, I don't know what is. And, yeah, what, you want to fight about it? You don't agree with me? Fantasy? You think it's fantasy?
Yeah, I'd say that's more fantasy.
Damn it.
Yeah, you could say Super Mario Galaxy.
There we go. Do you want to say that one?
I haven't played that, though.
Oh, well then, tough shit.
Luck.
Oh, wow, tough shit, the man says. Yeah. Okay, Hello Kitty Island Adventure is science fiction because time moves differently on the island. It's been 1 weekend since we left. Why? How? Go ahead, argue with me. Tell me I'm wrong.
Those fucking alien twins, too.
Yeah, there's aliens in it. So, Hello Kitty Island Adventure counts. How many legitimate games have I now named? Okay, like 2, but like, actually, was that number 4?
Yes.
Yeah, if we're not counting Mario Brothers, that is 4.
Okay, 5.
Just pick your favorite Resi.
Oh yeah, my favorite Resi. I forgot about Resident Evil. Resident Evil.
Yay.
Originalis.
Okay.
Because it's great. And again, not something I've actually played. Well, I have a little bit, but mostly I've watched it because it terrifies me. But the zombies are born of, much like dinosaurs in Jurassic Park, of fucking around with some shit that you shouldn't be fucking with in a lab somewhere. So there you have it.
Okay, was not expecting Hello Kitty.
Hey, I wasn't either, but when I realized I could maybe twist it in there, I decided to go for it. And you were going to argue with me. I saw it in your eyes. You were going to try.
I was.
Cool. Well, yeah, so I have a bunch, and it's interesting because I feel like the video game genre, so many games are
and
sci-fi.
Also so different from each other.
And so different from each other.
I almost said asteroids.
Yeah, I mean, it counts, right? Yeah.
Asteroids does count.
I've somehow,
As does Centipedes, Space Invaders, Galaga. Those are all...
Invaders, truth.
Yeah.
Robotron,
Actually,
Destroyer.
there's one, it's not on my list, but one I want to mention in that same category is a game called Parsec, which is possibly the first video game I played ever, because it was a game for the TI-99 computer from the very, that computer's from the late 70s. I think that game came out in 82, and we had it. And that was before we had a PC or a Nintendo or anything like that. We had a TI, and I remember it's just like side-scrolling spaceship flying and shooting things game, like R-Type or something. Very basic graphics. It is not on my list, but I did want to mention it because we were talking about like retro arcade type games.
Oh, that's a fun-looking console.
Oh yeah, it's a computer. It's not just a console. It's like a Commodore.
It's like Commodore style, where like the computer's built into the keyboard. And
I have one here if you ever want to play it.
No shit.
Anyway, onto my actual list.
Yes.
So unlike my previous list, I am actually going to list this one in bottom to top order. So, so these are not all number one this time, but they're all quite good. I'm going to start with a game that walked so that Cyberpunk could run, and that is Deus Ex, which was a early 2000s RPG, action RPG, I guess, in a cyberpunk world. More of a noir type feel to it, I think, than the Cyberpunk 2077, but still, I feel like a very influential and defining game of that genre.
You know, people fucking love it, and it's unfortunately just another property that is owned and has been repeatedly mishandled by Ubisoft.
I think I've heard, though, that they're doing a remaster, maybe, of the original game. I don't know when that is or if that is.
So, unfortunately, they're not doing a proper remaster. They're doing like an AI upscale remaster. And it looks
fuck
like
that shit.
It looks like trash. Everyone is livid.
Oh, get rid of that. Okay, fuck it then.
Again, Ubisoft. They are in a world of many awful AAA publishers. They somehow manage to consistently be the worst.
Wow. Well, that's a shame. But anyway, if you can get it, I mean, I don't know if it's on GOG or something, but if you can get it, I recommend it. Good game.
I'm pretty sure they are on GOG. They might even still be on Steam at this point.
What are they called? I'm sorry.
Deus Ex.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, I've heard. Have you mentioned it before?
I believe.
Has it come up before here?
It has come up before.
Yeah, I feel like I've heard about it.
I used to call it Deus Ex because I didn't know how to say Deus when I was little, so I said Deus Ex. And it's one of those things that's just like dropping a deuce.
Like calling a Grand Prix a Grand Prix.
Yeah.
Anyway, next game on my list, going to the horror genre. It's another game I've talked about before.
Yeah.
Alien Isolation.
I knew it was going to be an Alien game. Yes.
And that is it's such a phenomenal game. I'm not a huge horror game fan, but like the tension in that game is phenomenal. The world building in that game is phenomenal. If you're at all a fan of the original film Alien, it's like playing in that world, and it feels very much in line with that film. So yeah, highly recommend Alien Isolation. Next up, another film that I've talked about extensively before, so it'll be no surprise it's on my list, and that is Horizon Zero Dawn.
Perfect.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a good one. Damn good.
Robot dinosaurs, bow and arrows, distant future, mystery to unravel. Very cool game. Cool. All right, next up. Now this game is very special to me. I don't know if it's special to anybody else. I think it was a pretty popular game. It got 2 sequels. And this is Star Wars Jedi Knight Dark Forces 2.
Oh, that's one I've not played, but people fucking love that game.
I love that game.
Mouthful of a title. Say it again, Jake, so I can write it down.
It's Star Wars Jedi Knight Dark Forces 2.
Wow.
So,
Electric Boogaloo.
So Dark Forces, the original Dark Forces was these are all LucasArts. So like in the 90s, LucasArts was putting out banger after banger of Star Wars games and other franchises
in general.
Too.
My God, the Grim Fandango is one of the greatest video games ever. I could not find a way to justify it as science fiction, otherwise it would have been on my list.
But yeah, LucasArts was just cranking out great games. So they had a
asked
game.
Me, I would have helped.
They had a game called Dark Forces that was a Dark Forces was like a kind of a Doom clone. And then it was fun. It was a fun game, but it introduced this character, Kyle Katarn. So then in Dark Forces 2, Jedi Knight, they bring back Kyle, but this time he finds out that his dad was a secret friend of the Jedi or something. And anyway, he becomes a Jedi for reasons. But it's got a great single-player campaign. It had really fun multiplayer, like multiplayer deathmatch, where you could basically run around and hit each other with lightsabers. Who doesn't want to do that? It had a capture the flag mode, which is also quite fun. But the reason it's so special to me is because I got really into like modding it
cool.
creating single player. Like I created a bunch of levels, and a couple of them are still custom levels, which a couple of them are still available online. Last I checked.
Oh shit!
You'll have to send me the link so I can put it in the
You're
blog post.
Published under the pseudonym Otterbein Baribo. So
that feels like a Star Wars name.
Yeah, well, it's actually, I think it's a name of a company that manufactures pumps, but I thought it was a very cool name, so I made it my online alias. So yeah, if you're on the internet and you find things published by someone named Otterbein Baribo, they're probably from me.
Yeah, no, if you told me that was like the Blue Elephant dude that played the piano in Jabba's band, I'd believe you.
Oh yeah. But yeah, so I love that game. Every now and again, like I will download it and boot it up and try to play it, and it holds up, but like the graphics are terrible. Even like it's a 1997 game, and even for that era, like it came out I think the same year as Quake, and it looks not as good as Quake. But so the technology wise, not incredible, but just in terms of pure fun and like using the Force to do things, pretty cool. Yeah, and in the same way, like I feel like games like Jedi Knight walked so that later Star Wars titles could run.
Yeah.
But my very top sci-fi game, possibly one of my favorite games of all time, period, is going to have to go to Outer Wilds.
Thank you for putting Outer Wilds. I was so close to putting it on my list, even though it's one that I have not played. But watching you play it, like, I weep at the ending every time.
I mean, you can't not.
And it's not because of it's like, oh, really sad or anything. It's inevitable, and therefore it's beautiful, and it's so beautiful that I cry.
Yeah, so I'm not going to say anything about this game to spoil people on the content or anything about it, because it's just, you have to play it. It's so good. It's frustrating, I will say, if you know, I think a lot of people, like, I know it took me a few attempts to get going in it, because there's some interesting mechanics. There's some mechanics that you can kind of feel like you're not making progress sometimes, but just keep going, going, and don't spoil yourself. Don't read what happens. Don't learn anything about it, because it's a rewarding journey.
There. Anyone have like an honorable mention or anything they want to throw out?
I can't believe that. Oh
no, go ahead, Caitlin.
I was gonna say, I can't believe none of the Assassin's Creed games came up.
I thought about those, and like the science fiction is there, but it's kind of more in the background, and those games have
like Hello Kitty.
Yes, but yes, I did consider them. I considered the first Outer Worlds. I do quite enjoy that game. I'm in the middle of the sequel right now. I'm still not sure how I feel about it. But the first one I thought was good fun. I think, a lot of people, because it was made by the New Vegas people, they kind of wanted New Vegas in space, and it wasn't. So people were mad, but it's like they never said that's what it was going to be. But I think it's fun. It's got a fun aesthetic. I really enjoyed the companion characters in that game.
Yeah, I got an honorable mention too here. Another Star Wars piece, and that's going to be Knights of the Old Republic.
Which one is that?
That's a Star Wars RPG. Perhaps the only there's a sequel, but I don't know that they've done any other like straight. It's an RPG in like the Mass Effect sense. I think it might have even been developed by.
Well, it's a lot of the same people. Like you wouldn't have Mass Effect without this game. Yeah,
so Knights of the Old Republic, very popular game. I think they are actually doing a remake or a remaster of that at some point.
They announced a remake a while ago, but there's been a lot of radio silence. It's unclear on what's happening with that.
But yeah, that was a really fun game. Immersive Star Wars storytelling. And it takes place like hundreds or maybe thousands of years before the events of the films. So I
believe thousands, yeah.
Yeah, so it's like, it's very much the old Republic.
Yeah. I gotta say, the computer we had when I was a kid couldn't run a lot of these things, so I missed a lot of the Star Wars games, but I did play the fuck out of Shadows of the Empire.
Oh, yeah. N64.
Took me forever to fucking beat Hoth. Oof.
Yeah, that was a fun game. I can still remember playing that on like Christmas morning. I think they got that for Christmas one year, and it was like, yeah. Metroid.
I somehow never played a Metroid.
Really? Okay, yeah. Metroid's more of a series. The original Metroid's, it's fine. It's just a platformer. But I think Metroid just has a lot of fans because it sort of established a lot of tropes that are used throughout
Oh, yeah, I mean, there's a whole fucking genre now, the Metroidvania.
Yeah, exactly. So, fun platformer, shoot 'em up, space marine game, and you play as badass bitch Seamus.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I definitely think of her as like Nintendo's big three mascots are Mario, Link, and her. So,
but yeah, and like I think they still are doing. I haven't played one in ages, but I think they are still occasionally coming out with.
Yeah, I think Prime 4 just came out.
Okay,
that was in development for 1,000 years, and there was a more traditional sort of like side-scrolly one that came out a year or two ago. I can't remember what it was called. Metroid Dread. So yeah, they're still making them.
Very tough games, I recall.
Yes. Metroid Dread is supposed to be particularly unforgiving. Well,
these are really good lists.
Yeah, get some fun stuff on there. Of course, next week, instead of one of these, we'll be wrapping up the season, right, Jake?
Yeah, we will, because we are fast approaching the end of season 4 of Star Trek Discovery, and we have one more to go, folks. So strap in.
One more season to go? Or
one more season. One more episode of this season, and then one more season after that. So
that's nuts.
It is crazy.
That's the season Caitlin hasn't seen any of.
Yeah,
I'm very interested to hear what you're going to think of it.
I think I saw the first episode.
Okay.
Didn't we watch the first episode a long time ago?
I think you were there.
I think we did. I'm pretty sure me and Pat, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I did. I saw the first episode. That's it, though. So yeah, I'm excited to see.
Cool. Well,
what I think.
Set your expectations low.
But before we get to that, we will be talking about one more episode in Discovery Season 4, and that is Coming Home. That is the homecoming.
We got a lot to wrap up, people.
Got a lot to wrap up, and then we will wrap up our Season 4 with our tops and bottoms and our general thoughts on this fourth season of Discovery. Until then, you can catch up with us online at Blue Sky, SSHB Podcast. You can also read our blog, including this week's blogtivity, as well as all of our past blogtivities on Tumblr.
I'll make sure not to spoil Outer Wilds, but there will be a screen grab.
Yes, no spoilers. Yeah, so that is next week. Why did I say that? I don't know. Words. Anyway, yeah, Tumblr, SSHB Podcast, sshbpodcast.com. You can also download our podcast on the internet. Apple, YouTube,
Spotify,
etc.
SoundCloud.
Oh
yeah, SoundCloud, and also Facebook. Well, you can't get the podcast there, but you can interact with us. I think. I don't know.
Yeah,
a little bit.
I was gonna say you can click a link to get to the podcast from Facebook.
Yeah, there you go, Facebook. But anyway, whatever. Have fun. Listen to us or don't. I don't care. My name's been Jake.
I care. Please listen. This has been Chris.
I also care. This is Ames.
I'm ambivalent. This has been Caitlin. Who's rubbing their stuff against the microphone?
Jake, a lot.
It's fine. It's not the mic that's recording, so
so it's only annoying us and not the listeners. Thank you.
I had to fix my cord was tangled around my thing. So.
Like I give a fuck about the listeners. I only care about my experience. God damn it. Oh Jesus, you're gonna cut this, right?
Yeah, I've decided.
I'm just gonna do this the whole time.
Wow.